It's not here.
He had checked 3 times, pulled open every drawer, swept papers to the floor. The jar had vanished. For 50 years, that jar sat on the shelf, a clutter of old pennies from a grandfather long gone, and one of them, just one, was worth more than this house.
Carol,
What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost.
the coin jar, the one on my study shelf. Where is it?
I donated it to the church sale. I thought it was clutter.
You donated my grandfather's coin jar?
Inside that dusty jar was a 1943 copper penny, an error coin from the Denver Mint. There are maybe 20 known to exist. It's worth over $1 million.
And you gave it away, Carol. It's gone.
He left Carol in the kitchen and drove straight to St. Matthew's. The church parking lot was nearly empty, the sale tables bare.
Sir, we're cleaning up. The sale ended an hour ago.
I know. I am looking for a coin jar. Glass, full of old pennies. My wife donated it by mistake.
Oh, the penny jar. I remember. It sold early. An older gentleman bought it.
Martha pulled out the sign-in clipboard. Her finger ran down the list.
There. Frank Morrison. Item. Coin jar. Paid $25. He even wrote his address.
Mr. Morrison. He's a regular at our sales. Very kind man. He lives just 2 miles from here.
Anthony's mind raced. This Frank Morrison had no idea what he bought. He had to get there before those coins ended up at a Coinstar.
Can I copy that address? It's urgent.
Within seconds, he was back behind the wheel, 144 Cherry Lane glowing on his phone screen. The hunt wasn't over. It had just found a target. He drove past familiar houses, every stop sign a delay he couldn't afford. The address was close, but his chest felt hollow.
That jar holds treasure, Anthony. Remember that?
Cherry Lane was quiet, lined with dogwoods. Frank Morrison's bungalow sat modestly behind a garden of marigolds and a freshly painted fence.
What do I even say? He'll think I am crazy.
Anthony paused on the porch steps, peering through the screen door at a neat living room, a lamp still on. He took a breath and raised his hand. He knocked 3 times. A dog yapped somewhere inside, then footsteps approached. The door swung open. An older man in a cardigan stood there, a terrier at his side. His expression was curious, kind.
Can I help you, sir?
My name is Anthony Reeves. You don't know me, but I believe you bought a coin jar at the church sale this morning.
Yes, I did. Is something wrong with it?
Frank stepped back, waving Anthony toward a faded floral sofa that looked like it had decades of stories.
The jar itself is worthless, but one coin inside, a 1943 copper penny, is worth a fortune.
Frank's eyes drifted to a cluttered bookshelf. The jar was still there, untouched.
I haven't even looked at it. What kind of coin are we talking about?
My grandfather worked the Denver Mint. He slipped that copper penny into his jar by mistake.
A penny. You are telling me 1 penny in that jar is worth a life-changing amount?
There are fewer than 20 known. At auction, it could bring well over $1 million.
Frank didn't answer. He simply stood, crossed the room, and lifted the dusty jar from its shelf. He set it on the coffee table between them, the pennies clinking faintly, and settled back into his chair.
All right, Mr. Reeves. Let's see this miracle penny. I'll get a towel to spread them out.
Frank returned with a faded tea towel, and they poured the jar out together. Decades of pocket change spilled across the coffee table, silver and grimy.
All steel, all worthless. 50 years, and I never checked. What if it was never there?
Anything. These all look like steel to me.
Anthony's throat tightened. The pile seemed endless, a jagged sea of gray. And then Frank's finger paused on a coin that felt different.
This one's heavier, and it's copper. 1943. That's the year you said.
Let me see it.
Anthony tilted the penny into the lamplight. The copper gleamed warm against the cold silver of the others. He barely breathed.
I need to look this up. My phone. Give me a moment.
Frank's thumb scrolled, paused, scrolled again. The color drained from his face. He set the phone down gently, as if it might bite.
It says one sold 5 years ago for over $1 million. Mr. Reeves, this isn't just money. This is history. We should have an expert verify it.
The next morning, they stood outside Dawson's Coins, a narrow storefront with a green awning. A bell chimed as they stepped inside.
You must be the gentleman with the coin. Come in, come in. Let's see this miracle.
Harold Dawson placed the penny under a bright halogen lamp and flicked down his jeweler's lope. The shop fell silent.
Extraordinary. The strike is weak but unmistakable. Where did you find this?
It's been in my family since the 1940. Is it real?
I need to weigh it, check the magnetism. Give me a few minutes.
Dawson measured, tested, and consulted a thick reference book. The 15 minutes that followed felt like a full afternoon.
Gentlemen, congratulations. This is a genuine 1943 copper cent. There are fewer than 20 confirmed specimens.
He slid a certificate of authenticity across the glass, the embossed seal catching the light. The estimated value at the bottom made Anthony's hand tremble.
At auction, I'd estimate 1.5 million minimum. You are holding a fortune, gentlemen.
That evening, Anthony called Frank from his study, the certificate open on the desk. His voice was low, but Carol heard every word from the hallway.
1.5 million. He almost lost it forever because of me.
We found it, Carol. It's real. But I haven't talked with Frank about what happens next.
Anthony, I am so sorry. I never even looked inside that jar. How do we fix this?
Across town, Frank sat in his living room, his daughter Lydia reading the certificate with crossed arms.
Dad, you bought that jar. Legally. You don't owe that man a cent. This is your retirement.
It's not that simple. That coin was handed down for generations. Anthony's grandfather put it there.
You paid a quarter, Dad. This is $1.5 million lesson in generosity.
I don't know yet. Frank's a good man, but his daughter will fight tooth and nail, and mine can't even look herself in the mirror.
Frank set the certificate down. The coin sat in a velvet pouch between two men who'd only just met, and two families pulling them apart. The next afternoon, Anthony returned alone. The velvet pouch still rested on Frank's coffee table, untouched.
I can't keep it. My conscience won't allow it. This coin belongs with your family.
I won't take it back. You bought it honestly, but I am asking for half, just half.
Half would change my retirement completely. You are sure about this?
50-50 after fees. We sell it together or not at all.
50-50 after fees. You have my word.
Their handshake was the only contract either needed. A quarter at a church sale, a promise between strangers, now a bond. Frank called Dawson and authorized the consignment. The penny's journey to auction had begun, with both their names on the paperwork. For the first time in days, Anthony's shoulders dropped. The worst was over. The trust was real. The coin still rested in its velvet pouch, but its weight now belonged to both men. A handshake had made it so. Weeks blurred. Dawson finalized the consignment, and the penny was shipped to a vault at Heritage Auctions, sealed in a tamper-proof case.
Yes, we have a rare coin. No, I won't give you a quote. Please stop calling this number.
The local paper ran a front-page piece. Yard sale coin. Could fetch millions. Carol found it on the kitchen counter the next morning.
The whole town knows, Anthony. Every time I go out, I hear whispers. I gave away a fortune.
You didn't know, Carol. I should have told you. We can't undo it, but we can move forward.
Will you ever trust me again? I don't trust myself anymore. I almost destroyed everything.
I want to trust you. It's going to take time, but I am not leaving you alone in this.
The coin sat in a climate-controlled vault, its fate bound to a gavel. Dawson called with a date, 3 weeks until the auction. Anthony marked the date on his calendar. Every morning, he passed the empty shelf where the jar once stood, and his stomach tightened. But outside the quiet peace of Cherry Lane, someone else had seen the newspaper, and he was already making plans. The call came from a Denver law office. A voice, oily and insistent, filled Anthony's ear.
My name is Gary Benson. I represent the rightful heir to the 1943 copper cent. That coin was stolen.
Stolen? My grandfather was no thief. Who is this Benson?
Meet me at my attorney's office tomorrow. Bring the coin or face legal action.
Anthony drove downtown, the address burning a hole in his pocket. The building's columns felt like a courthouse already. Inside, Gary Benson sat with a cheap suit and a yellowed letter, his smirk anchoring a claim that could undo everything. I witnessed Edward Reeves take a copper penny from the mint floor in October 1943. He bragged about it. Signed, Harold Benson. That evening, Anthony sat in Frank's living room, the letter's ghost between them.
If that letter's real, we could lose the coin before auction. We need a lawyer, fast.
They agreed to split the cost of a good estate attorney. The next morning, they'd be in his office, fighting for a fortune they'd only just found. The next morning, they sat before a seasoned estate attorney. He'd handled inheritance cases for decades, and his first look at the letter was not comforting. He held up a freshly filed motion. The plaintiff seeks immediate injunctive relief to halt the sale of the 1943 copper cent pending determination of rightful ownership.
They can really stop the auction? We were days away.
The attorney laid out the only path. Prove the coin was a mint error, not a theft. He'd request archives from the Denver Mint immediately. Within a week, the archives delivered. Their lawyer's paralegal spread photocopies across a corkboard, mapping a trail of paperwork from 1943. One memo was a smoking gun. Copper blanks were mistakenly used for a small run of 1943 cents. All such coins are to be retrieved and melted. A Western Union telegram, urgent. Copper planchets accidentally used. Stop, do not release coins. Stop, retrieve all specimens immediately.
So the mint made a mistake. That penny was never stolen. Your grandfather just kept one that was supposed to be destroyed.
Their attorney nodded. The evidence undercut Benson's entire claim, but the judge would still need to rule. A preliminary hearing was set for the following Monday.
So now we wait. The auction's frozen, and the coin's in limbo, but we're still in this together.
That night, Carol rummaged through a dusty attic box and brought down a yellowed envelope. Her expression was unreadable. The letter inside, dated 1944. I sometimes lie awake and wonder if I should have turned that penny in. A mistake, but I kept it. Signed, Edward Reeves.
He knew. He always knew that Penny was more than clutter. My inheritance might be tainted.
Across town, Lydia took a call. Gary's lawyer was offering a 30% cut right now. No trial, no risk.
Dad, that's over 300,000 now. In court we could lose everything. You have to consider it.
I shook his hand. But you are right. We need to think of your future. Maybe this is smarter.
Later that evening, Frank dialed Anthony, his voice unsteady. The phone rang 3 times.
There's an offer on the table. 30%, no court. Maybe we should take it.
You are siding with them? We shook hands, Frank. That coin is half mine, and we fight together.
The line went silent. 2 men, 2 cities, 1 broken trust. The handshake that had sealed their bond now hung by a thread. Frank didn't sleep. The phone call replayed in his mind. He stared at the ceiling until dawn cracked through the blinds.
I shook that man's hand. I told him 50-50. Selling out now would make me a liar. Lydia, I can't take that settlement. I made a promise. He trusted me. This isn't just about money. It's about what kind of man I am. I won't break my word.
He picked up the phone and dialed Anthony's number before his courage failed.
Anthony, about last night, I was scared, but I am in this with you. All the way.
I know you are. Meet me at the park. We need to talk this through face to face.
A few hours later, they sat on a weathered bench, the morning sun warming their shoulders. The rift closed with a single look.
We reject the settlement. Tell Benson we'll see him in court. We're not backing down.
Their lawyer drafted the response that afternoon. The auction was officially postponed, and the case set for a full hearing. A few days later, their attorney called them back to his office. A fresh stack of vintage documents lay on the desk. He pointed to a line in a newly found memo. No evidence of theft. All copper cents were likely kept as souvenirs.
So the Mint never considered it stolen property? They just didn't want them leaving the building.
The legal distinction was crucial. Gary's grandfather's letter alleged a theft, but the Mint's own records treated it as a minor infraction. If anything,
That telegram already showed it was a mistake. Now we have proof there was never an investigation.
their attorney added a third piece, a 1978 letter from the Mint's curator confirming no former employee had ever been prosecuted for keeping error coins.
It feels like the truth has been buried for 80 years, and we're finally digging it up.
The hearing was now 3 days away. The evidence stacked in their favor, but a judge's decision was never a guarantee.
Whatever happens, we did the right thing. We didn't sell out. That counts for something.
They shook the lawyer's hand and walked out into the autumn sun. Their case was stronger than ever. The verdict was still a question mark. The morning of the hearing, the courtroom smelled of old wood and tension. Anthony and Frank sat shoulder to shoulder, their lawyer at the ready. Gary's attorney presented the aged letter, but under cross, the Mint records painted a different picture. The judge flipped through the documents, expression unreadable. After a long pause, the judge removed his glasses and looked directly at Gary. His voice was calm but unequivocal. The plaintiff has failed to establish any chain of ownership. The alleged theft is uncorroborated. This case is dismissed with prejudice. The gavel struck. Gary slammed his folder shut, his face pale with rage. He didn't look at Anthony or Frank as he stormed out.
It's over. 80 years of doubt, and the truth finally won.
Outside the courthouse, under a vast blue sky, the two men fell into each other's arms. The handshake that had bound them was now an embrace.
We did it, Anthony. That penny is ours to sell.
Not just to sell, Frank. To honor. Our families are linked now.
They stood there for a long minute, two old men who'd started as strangers and ended as brothers. The penny was safe. The hardest part was over. Anthony found Carol on the porch, her hands wringing a dish towel. She'd been waiting, raw hope and fear on her face.
I heard the news on the radio. You won? Tell me it's really over.
It's over, Carol. The judge dismissed it. The penny is ours.
I'll never touch your things again without asking. I swear it. I am so sorry, Anthony.
I forgive you. Let's move forward together. We're going to be all right.
Across town, Lydia came through Frank's door with her head bowed. She'd heard the news.
Dad, I was wrong. I pushed you toward that settlement because I was scared. I am proud of you for fighting.
It's okay, honey. You were looking out for me. We all got tested, and we passed.
Dawson called that evening. The auction was rescheduled for 2 weeks from Friday. Both households marked the date and stared at it. The legal storm had passed, leaving a quiet but electric anticipation. Two families, once strangers, now held their breath together. The evening before the auction, Anthony drove to Cherry Lane one last time. He found Frank on the porch, rocking slowly in the dusk.
I was hoping you'd come. Hard to sit still tonight.
They talked about what the money meant. Anthony spoke of his grandkids' college, something he never thought he could provide.
3 tuitions, Frank. They'll have what we never could.
For me, it's simple. No more worrying about the bills. And maybe a trip to see the grandkids.
For a long moment, they just sat there, two old men with a penny that had changed everything. Yet somehow, the friendship meant more. The next morning arrived cold and clear. They met outside Heritage Auctions, the grand columns rising behind them. Inside, the auction hall was already humming. Collectors and dealers filled the seats, their paddles ready.
This is it. Whatever happens, I am glad you are beside me.
The auctioneer stepped to the podium. A hush fell over the room. Lot 42, the 1943 copper cent, was about to be called. The auctioneer's voice cut through the hush. We start the bidding at $500,000. A paddle shot up immediately. Within seconds, it leaped to $700,000, then 8. 2 phone bidders dueled, their agents nodding frantically.
It's already past $500,000. Carol would faint if she saw this.
1 million. The room gasped. Anthony's hand found Frank's arm and squeezed, a silent anchor.
They said 1.5 was the estimate. This is no dream. It's already a fortune.
The auctioneer paused, scanning the room. I have 1.2 million on the phone. Any advance on 1.2? A new bidder near the back raised his paddle. 1.4. A ripple of applause. Then the room fell silent again. 1.5. The estimate now a floor. The phone bidder topped it instantly. 1.55. 1.7. The number hung in the air, spoken by a phone agent near the wall. The auctioneer's gavel rose slightly. Any further bids? Going once at 1.7 million. The silence was absolute. Going twice. Sold. The gavel cracked down, and the room exploded into a wall of applause and shouts. Collectors leaped to their feet, clapping. Phone agents hugged each other. The penny had shattered expectations. Anthony and Frank sat frozen for a heartbeat, the noise washing over them like a flood. Then they turned, eyes wet, and fell into each other's arms without a word. They held on, 2 old men who had carried a penny across a lifetime and finally set it down. Hours later, an auction official slid settlement sheets across the oak table. After fees, $850,000 each. Frank stared at his sheet, the number seeming to pulse on the page.
We did it, Anthony. A quarter at a church sale. A future for both our families.
And a friendship that's worth far more than any coin. Thank you, Frank.
They shook hands one more time, the gesture that had started it all, now carrying the weight of everything after. Anthony walked through his own door, with the check folded in his pocket. Carol was at the kitchen table, her face still lined with hopeful worry.
It's done. Carol, 1.7 million. After fees, 850,000 for us.
Oh, Anthony, I'm so sorry and so relieved at the same time.
The grandkids' college is paid for. Carol, all 3 of them. We did that.
Carol wept openly, her head against his chest, but after a long moment, Anthony gently took her shoulders and looked her in the eye.
I need your word, Carol. No more decluttering my things. Ever. Without asking me first.
I swear it. I'll never touch your things again without asking. I promise.
At Frank's bungalow, Lydia was already there, waiting on the porch steps. She stood as he pulled into the drive.
It's sold for 1.7 million, honey. Here is what we got. No more worries.
Dad, I was so wrong to push you. You are the best man I know. I am so proud of you.
Months later, autumn leaves fell across a campus walkway. A banner read, "Welcome, freshmen." Anthony and Carol stood with a cluster of families, watching 3 young heads disappear into a dormitory.
Grandpa's penny paid for all of it. He'd be proud.
That evening, the house was quiet. Anthony went to the study and lifted the empty coin jar from its box on the desk. He carried it to the mantel and set it beside the old black and white photo of his grandfather. Inside the jar, a small handwritten note read, "College fund complete. Thanks, Grandpa." The jar stood empty but full of meaning, a lifelong clutter that had become a legacy.
We did right by you, Grandpa.
Carol came and stood beside him, slipping her hand into his. Neither spoke. The jar shimmered in the last light of the day. The coin was gone, but the real treasure had never been about the copper. It was about the people it brought together. They stood before the mantel, hands still clasped, as the jar caught the last light of day. The photograph of Edward Reeves seemed to smile down at them, a silent benediction. In the stillness, the weight of a lifetime of clutter finally lifted entirely. Carol squeezed his hand. No words were needed. The silence spoke for them both. Outside, the neighborhood settled into evening, but inside, time held still. The sun slipped below the horizon, and shadows gathered around the mantel. Only the jar's glass reflected a faint amber glow, holding the light a moment longer. Then that too faded, and the room fell into the gentle dark. In the darkness, the story of a copper penny was complete, but its warmth lingered, fade to black, leaving only the quiet hum of a life well lived.